All right, what's up, Hyce? Welcome back.
Well, hey,
Welcome
man.
back to
It's,
Railroads Online. I gotta put that logo up on the screen.
Oh, you gotta
know?
have that. You gotta have the Railroads Online.
Well, yeah,
bro.
I didn't have the logo before, so I have a question.
Okay.
I've noticed this.
Yes.
It's a lot of engines. We're starting off early with the questions. If I go full reg with the brake on, I can just power through the brake.
Yes.
Is that a real
Yes.
thing? That's a real most engines will do that, power through their own brake, or the brakes actually.
Usually, actually, with the way that Steam works, you really kind of got to get the engine going for it to really have the power it needs.
Right.
Because you're ultimately, like, if you're just sitting still, like, usually you end up stuck on one side or whatever trying to start, and it really doesn't work terribly well. I've never run full reg against brakes because it's not really a good practice.
Because you're not an idiot,
anyway.
is what you're saying?
Not an idiot. So I don't know, but
Right.
my guess is that most engines probably wouldn't. However, the Betsy, not having air brakes and just having the
It would
mechanical
probably do
lever, it probably would. I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah.
Can you just go over my cars, just make sure all my brakes are off here, and check
Sure.
the front pin and make sure that's a good spot? We, in case people missed it, we built a hump yard. So this is our hump yard. I love it. It's so great.
Humping with Con is a lot of fun. Yes.
Yeah, well, we hump all our empties, and so now Betsy, I guess, is going to be our hump engine that will
all
just
brakes are off.
manage all the cars on this side of the hump, on the flat side, and then we'll have to get a bigger engine, probably the Class 48 for the humping side, because if we had a really long train, I don't know if Betsy could hump them all, you know?
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a steep hill. So.
Yeah.
But once you get all the cars kind of like up and over, it shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. But yeah, Class 48 would be nice.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I also did some changes around the freight depot, just deleted like the fuel, the logging setup we had there. Like I just cleaned up the track because we're gonna eventually move all that here, and obviously that would we got to do that at some point, but we're just gonna, so we pull all the cars out. I love this. This is such a cool layout for a yard. It really is.
This is actually how this would work. So we've got dedicated shop space next to us. And then when
we're
we get
going
the
down
main
the
line to
Y,
field,
which
we'll
is
have that.
not how this would go.
It's fine if you
If
fit.
we have the
Why
space,
would
I
you
guess.
bother to throw the switch? So
Yeah, that's true. We fit. Do we
that's what
fit?
I would have
think
done
we
on the
fit.
railroad. Just like, okay, yeah, we got enough space. Okay, who cares?
True. Normally we would go down the other line though, and not the super sharp cornered Y here.
Well, that's fine. I
Did
was
I bin
definitely
it?
looking at that switch stand. Yeah,
Oh,
so
did
I'm
you-
with these switches too close together like this. I'm staring at the closer switch stand.
Oh, you
and
flicked the far
and
one?
threw the switch underneath the car that was
All
still
right,
on
well,
the
do you want
other
to
switch.
rerail
So,
that for me? And then
that was quick. My video might begin with "Smells Like Kenosha," so that's hilarious.
I can't believe you derailed already.
Oh, you're just kicking me. Okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, why not, right? Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
really make a difference.
This is efficiency right here.
Yeah, and then I can flick this guy and put Betsy back at the end of the hump yard as our hump
she's all
engine.
ready.
Normally she would
Yep.
go back to the roundhouse, but obviously we don't have a roundhouse built up
We're not
yet.
quite there yet. Yep.
No, so she's just gonna go and sit here at the flat side of the hump.
There we go. Hopefully these cars roll enough. I mean, I guess I could always run the engine into the cars rather
Yeah, you
than
could
run
back
the cars
up.
into the
That is
engine,
possible for you.
but- Dunk.
Yeah, you're good.
There it is.
All right, we're gonna go make some
All right.
money today. We're gonna get some metal products, iron products.
metal.
Ideally, we're gonna get mostly rails, but I think we're gonna get some raw iron too because we want to save some rails for the coal mine. Because if this all
Honest
works
like that,
out
yep.
and I can get a little bit more money, another $1,000, which I think we'll get today, then we
hope
can buy a
so.
climax,
I really
and then the climax can get moved and become our new helper, which is great. And we can use the climax with the 48 to potentially pull. Although we could try it without it first, but we could do trips to the coal mine a little more efficiently, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
You're going.
Oh right, you can't just send it in Glenbrook.
You're going
right,
sketchy
right,
speed.
Right.
The
It's fine.
chuffs are
It's
very
fine.
fast. I love the
Con?
hump. The hump is.
Con?
Did we derail?
Con? No. Where's
What?
the main line, Con?
Oh, did I delete the main? Oh, I deleted the main line. I forgot to put the main line back. Whoops. I knew I forgot. Hold on a minute. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's
Con's
fine.
railroad
Don't worry
service.
about it.
Yeah, I totally. So remember how we were having those like issues with the skipping off the switch there for no reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I relayed
Oh,
all
see,
this, and I guess I
okay.
forgot to put the
You
main
forgot
line
one
back.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. I deleted the logging camp over here because we had not the logging camp, the fuel
Firewood
depot
depot,
thing,
yeah.
and the firewood depot, the water tower, standing tower. I deleted all that. I just put in a couple extra lanes.
Nice.
Because my thought was like, if people are like waiting to go, we're staging trains. This would be a way to stage them, kind of, or if someone's unloading, you can still pass them. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's smart.
I don't know,
like it.
3 lanes, whatever, and then I just extended it out as far as possible. So it's just some extra space. I doubt, like, we're not going to store anything here. These are just really lanes for, if the freight depot is a busy spot, right? And you need...
It's a utility thing, yeah. Sometimes you'll have to pass. Sometimes other trains will be unloading, working. You'll
then I
buy new
cleaned up this
cars,
corner
and
and all
build
that
the train,
nonsense,
etc. I
Perfect.
don't know yet what setting you can leave the engine on without causing problems with the Glenbrook.
Well, it depends on the train weight you've got too, right?
I guess so, yeah. So
you
there
have
may not be
heavier
like
train,
one reg
higher
setting that just
setting, like-
works. Yeah.
Coming back,
mean-
you could probably 100% it with all the iron weight.
I would imagine so. I didn't do the tonnage math for this, so we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, we're
but
just gonna send
I have
it.
a sneaking suspicion that Glenbrook's not going to be enough to make up the 2% with all those heavy metals behind it, but we'll see.
I think you're right. However,
Class 48
I'm
was at the
excited.
smelter,
I'm excited to try it. Yeah, the Class 40 is not at the smelter. The Class 40
it's at the helper
it's
station
at the helper.
still, right.
Yeah, so we might have to go get it.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be fine.
But it's 2%. I mean, 2% is not very steep, and it's got a lot of like smooth curves and stuff, right? Like big 60s, 70s. So I went over to the sawmill
You say
to
it's not that steep, but that's steeper than most normal mainline grades in all of the United States.
on
Because
standard
we're
gauge.
just really skewed in our perception
already
of how
pass this
steep
switch?
things are. No, we haven't passed the switch yet. No, it's
Okay,
coming up.
no good. I made it. Yeah, I mean, so standard gauge, like anything above 1.5% becomes stupid. Is the idea? Is that?
Well, it's just because the size of trains that you run. I mean, any grade like that really causes an issue, right? And so it really lends itself to short trains and inefficiencies if you have to have grades steeper than that. It's not really a byproduct of the gauge. It's just that the cars are so much heavier.
Passenger trains, then they're running passenger locomotives that are just like less powerful than diesels or specially made, or like they could
Actually,
really.
they're usually pretty much the same power rating.
So
You know,
they just
I had the same.
You're only pulling like 6 or 7 passenger cars, though. It must be the most overpowered train.
No, so here's the thing. I didn't think about this either, and I had the same assumption as you before I worked for the Seattle Sound Transit, which is the commuter rail outfit and everything there. I was thinking, okay, well, yeah, I'm coming from the freight railroad, going to the passenger railroad. Okay, it's going to be babies, no tonnage, no big deal for the locomotive. The locomotives are probably fine. And then I looked at the event recorder graph from one of the locomotives for one of the trips it was running. And I forgot that, what's important about passenger trains? Speed, keeping a schedule and everything. They put that thing wide open, and they leave it wide open until they're at track speed. And so it's running just full bore, and then they brake super hard, and then run it full bore all over again. I mean, it's like...
Right, because they're just trying to
work the crap
maximize
out
the
of these
speed.
things. Yeah, they're
And then
using
once
the
it gets to
horsepower,
track
not
speed, they'll
for the-
throttle it down, though, right? Like that's the idea.
Yeah. They try and maintain whatever track speed is, usually 70 or 79 in a lot of places if they can run full speed. But it's one of those things where they're not using the horsepower for the pulling power. They're using the horsepower for the speed at that point.
Right, for the
So
acceleration.
we still had 4,000 horsepower locomotives, just like the freight engines are, but that was our commuter engines. So, yeah.
What about
Person
double dual? I've never actually seen it because every time I've ridden a passenger train, it's always a passenger train. But I know planes, for example, they do a lot of cargo with passenger planes. Like the cargo hold below will not only have, the luggage and whatever, but sometimes on these bigger cargo planes, especially like the bigger, 4-engine monsters, they'll put cargo. And so do you ever see that
really?
with old school trains or even modern trains where they put cargo in with passenger, or is it always
You
just? I know
don't tend
mail
to
was
see
common.
it.
Like mail
You don't-
was.
Don't tend to see it too often anymore, but mixed trains were definitely a thing in the past, particularly on smaller railroads. So you'd have some passenger cars mixed in with the freight cars. And a lot of times you would have actually a very similar situation to the airplane situation you talked about, where the real reason for the passenger train to run was for the head-end freight, the express freight.
Right.
Brett, my buddy Brett, had showed me this hilarious picture. There's a picture of the San Juan Express, which is the big named train that the Rio Grande ran for a long time. And it's like 5 or 6 baggage cars on the front end, and it's got like one coach, and that's it.
So they were just like, we really need the baggage and the luggage.
They were running the train for all of the head-end freight and all of the high express freight that was getting shipped across Colorado. And nobody was there to ride the train. Nobody bought tickets, really. So they had like 1 or 2 coaches on it and a bunch of cars on the head end. So you definitely did have that, but it's not too terribly common anymore because of the way that the carriers are set up now, with Amtrak doing most of the passenger being run by the government versus the freight railroads that are pretty much hauling exclusively freight, though it still does happen here and there.
And I know we talked about this last time, but the Amtrak being run by the government is because passenger trains just weren't profitable, so nobody wanted to do it.
Exactly. So
amazing.
Since 1971, it's been run by the government, and it's lost money since 1971. They've never been in the black, literally in their whole existence, and it's not because that's not the point of Amtrak.
I feel
the point of Amtrak is to provide the service.
And I know there's a huge debate on this, and we've never talked about it, but I feel like, North America, Canada, and the U.S. really would benefit greatly from a high-speed rail system.
Absolutely.
And,
the problem is there's just a lot of
Japan
America.
does it, and a lot of other Asian countries do it, and we just don't. And it's like, come on, guys. Like you could charge a fair amount of money for people to do, and I know it would be expensive to maintain. The infrastructure is crazy, and you have earthquake problems.
The regulations around it as well are very challenging. I mean, you have to build a dedicated, exclusive right-of-way, and it has to meet crazy FRA standards to be Class 9 track, which is faster than, I think, 225 miles an hour to really get, crazy high-speed trains.
Right.
And it just becomes such a gigantic challenge to do, because, the cities are already built. You're either going to have to buy a bunch of property and figure that out, and set up the rail line, or that sort of challenge there, and then you got to meet the regulations and meet all the stuff and satisfy the FRA, and then it's a huge amount of cost and a huge amount of geopolitical things to actually get the rail line built. There are a couple under development in the States, though. There's some high-speed rail in California that has kind of a storied history that may or may not be going terribly well.
California high-speed rail doesn't seem like a good idea. There's sort of this thing near California. I don't know if you've heard it. It's called the San Andreas Fault. And it's sort of this weird thing where the Earth likes to move.
When the sidewalk starts doing the worm, I've seen that happen before. That's scary.
Stuff doesn't end up in the same spot. It happens many, many times, even if you don't feel it. So
Well, I will never forget being a kid at school when the 7.1 hit Seattle, 7.1 on the Richter scale earthquake. And I literally watched the sidewalk do the worm, watching the concrete jiggle like that. And it was incredible. It was like something out of a cartoon, but there it was actually happening. So not ideal, but you can engineer things to get around that.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
And then just pray that it doesn't go poorly.
Okay, you gotta back up, and then we're going to... Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kick your stuff, so slow down a little bit. Or just maybe keep on neutral speed. And disconnect your car.
Okay. I gotta go turn around, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna kick your cars into the place that you have to eventually go. There they go. Okay, perfect. You're good. So now slam forward. Slam forward,
yep.
Let your cars go. Alright, they should maybe stop. They'll dunk if they don't. Alright, and then you gotta go.
Oh, no. Con!
Oh, it's because the stupid cars were on the
switch.
The cars were on the stupid hitbox. You gotta leave more gap.
Yep, there it is.
Between
That's
you
fine.
and the car.
Wait.
I'm totally not used to that.
Sir, what? Why did my tender go away?
Oh, interesting. You don't have a tender anymore. Well, that's
just
that's a different.
I did not process that.
Did you disconnect your tender somehow?
I've been in the UI the whole time, so I don't know.
I don't know how you did that one.
That's a new one. Okay, that's cool. It's fine.
Sure, take your tender back. All right. Yeah, you gotta leave more distance between you and the cars, unfortunately, because I tried to flick the switch for you, but then it flicks it back because the car's on the pressure. Yeah. It'd take me like forever to get used to that.
Whole bunch of shenanigans.
All right, there you go. Now you can come this way, and then we don't have a Y here because I didn't really have the space for it.
Yeah, it's a challenging place to try and put a Y with the position.
I might
of
try
the
and
smelter,
engineer
so.
one of those 5-position Devil's Ys.
The silly one,
The silly-
yeah.
but
those are a little wacky.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I don't know how much
I
space.
heard you like throwing switches. Can you throw
Yeah,
some
no.
switches? How many switches? All of them.
Dude, you have to stop on that turntable.
Yeah, and
my God.
what about it, Con? What
Jeez.
about it? Huh? I have to stop where?
I can't. Okay, whatever. I can't even right now. You know, I just can't. It's too much of that time where I just can't anymore. You know.
It's fine. Don't even worry about it. Look, we're on the turntable. We're spotted. Yes, there are things in rule books about
if in real life, okay.
That
first
would
of
have
all,
been disastrous
a
for the
train
turntable.
can't stop that fast, obviously. But if you were stopping fast on a turntable, wouldn't it break the turntable? Like, would it rocket off the middle bearing?
There's a couple things to unpack here. So, one, actually, a light engine could probably stop that fast. We did a test with the RJS 20 down at the Cumbres and Toltec. They wanted to check everything out, make sure that it was mechanically happy and would satisfy all their requirements and everything. And so from track speed, doing like 20 or 25 miles an hour, they dumped the air brakes, pulled the emergency valve to see how long it would take it to stop, and we stopped in 90 feet.
Okay.
From 20 or 25 miles an hour. And it's like, oh my God, I had no clue that it would stop that fast. That
You're
said,
good. Yeah.
it is in rule books that you should only go on and off turntables at a maximum speed of 1 mile an hour because they have a gap in the rail and they have to for the way that they're designed. And if it is an Armstrong turntable like that, they sit on a tapered roller bearing type pivot, and the table can translate up and down like something like 4 inches or 5 inches ish, depending on how the ring rail is set up. And so you would hit that. I mean, it's violent when you hit even at just 1 mile an hour. So it's like, okay, this is a little much. So hitting it going that fast like I just did would have been disastrous and probably would have derailed something.
All right,
But yeah,
well,
trying to stop on the table like that too would have dunked the table over really violently as well. So yeah,
I made a little bit of a
it's fine.
miscalculation because we should have put your cars into one of those lanes on the left to run around it. But it's okay. We can just get out onto the main and then run around
we'll
on the
just
main
run around
area.
on the main. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Dude, this is the name of real railroading and why I love...
Figure out the nonsense when you only have X resources available, and it's like, oh, the closest
Yes.
place we can turn around is 6 kilometers that way? Well, that's not gonna work, so,
Dude,
like...
so the logistics of that stuff is so real. Like, this is the problems that you have to solve at these industries and switching. Like, you end up running in the head puzzle of what do I have to do rather than just running through loops and whatever. So it makes it a really fun challenge when you set up the industries properly like this. Because that is, I mean, almost all of railroading is, oops, that car accidentally ended up over there. What do we do now?
Watch out if you dunk this, because they are up against the stop, so it is gonna...
Okay, gentle dunk.
If you dunk this, it's gonna probably get yeeted into the dirt, would be my guess.
That's fine. Dunk.
All
I
right.
tried. That's
Yeah,
fine.
go forward or backwards. I don't know, that direction.
Go ahead and bring him back. Yes, you got it.
All right, perfect. Let's start loading rails. Let's keep 20 rails, right? Because then we can do 2 and 6. Isn't that what we did last time? 2?
Yeah, that should be fine. So
That's like
6
a good-
cars of rails.
6 cars of rails, 2 of the raw iron.
Yeah, I think that's the move for sure.
Yeah, we got lots of raw iron. I mean, hopefully, if we get the climax, I would like to see if we can do bigger trains to the iron
Yeah,
mine,
that would be
because
awesome.
We need more stake flats, but if we could do like 12 cars to the iron mine of stake flats of like, 6
Right.
and 6. 6 planks, 6, beams, that would be really solid.
That would be a lot more fun. I agree.
All right, well, Hyce and I are going to play Clicking Simulator for the next, 20 minutes, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow. Well,
Hyce, look over there.
almost.
Look over there. Look over there. Look at.
What?
Do you see that? See that?
Hmm?
See that? No,
What am I
keep
seeing?
looking. Keep looking. Over there. Over there.
oh,
Don't
okay,
worry about your crane. Just over there.
Trains?
There,
Okay.
no, there's there, in the clip. Look, see that? There's like a is it a deer or a bear? There's some
What?
walking over there. Do you see that?
What?
See that? You see what I'm talking about?
Walking? I don't see it.
Ah, I got you. I loaded my car faster.
Oh,
Look at
wow,
that.
wow,
Oh, yeah, you were ahead in
wow.
crane clicks, but not anymore. Champion!
Oh,
Woo!
dude, come on.
Yeah, that's right. Can you imagine if there was
So
actually
you
wildlife?
you got me with the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, look at
That
the
was,
bear, the bear over there. That,
right.
You know. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can
Dude,
make it up this hill. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Dude, so one of my favorite memories with my rock band, Hellbot, we did a retreat kind of thing to our drummer's cabin up in the woods. And it was a party time. I mean, it's 4 rock and roll dudes, and we're having drinks and all
4
this fun
dudes in
stuff.
one cabin.
A lot of stank going on. Yeah,
that sounds wonderful. Yeah, that sounds great.
it was hilarious, but my drummer and my singer walk out onto the front porch of the cabin, and it's really pretty up in the mountains of Washington. And my drummer goes, "Yeah, if you listen really close, you can actually hear the elk." And so my singer gets really quiet, and then he just farts.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
Say, man, I would have. That's what I was. I thought that was.
You can hear the elk. Just the cute little, and it was just like, really, dude? Oh man, he got so mad. It was so funny.
All right, you gotta slow down a bit because this is iron and it's not gonna slow down.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, brakes. We have them, or maybe apparently.
Because you gotta go at the back and run around. I'm gonna unpin you.
Woo!
You're unpinned.
Let's see if I can get myself out of
Okay,
jousting
he is sending it.
This the collision model on this locomotive is making me really scared.
I don't know if the switch
Okay.
is set in the right
It's
spot
fine.
for you there, so you might want
It
to.
is. It is. It's fine.
Okay.
And we just run through the switch, flip the reverse in the other way, watch it do the moonwalk, and then I'll meet it on the other end here. Go, choo choo, go! We gotta make some money, man. We gotta get
Yeah,
that
we gotta
climax.
get that climax, bro.
Okay, so let me get the math.
Yeah, what's your
rolling
tonnage
here.
math? We got 6 and 2.
I'm working in my Excel
What's
sheet.
Tahobro? Just what's an approximate of what Tahobro's good for on 2%? The Glenbrook here.
It's good for 260,000 pounds.
260.
So it's actually it's actually probably pretty good. Honestly.
I think we're fine then.
Yeah.
Because eight cars, even if they were 20,000 pounds each, that's only 160. If they were 30,000 pounds each, that's 240.
Yeah. Wow. I really underestimated this. It's loaded. It's 210,000 pounds just about. So we've got enough capacity for like 2 more cars.
Yeah, we're good to go.
That's solid,
This is
man.
gonna be an
Glenbrook's
easy trip.
awesome.
I'm just gonna put her at notch 8.
It was 38 cars.
I don't even know what's notch 8 actually. Is that 100%? Is that 80%?
That's everything. Yeah, 100% would be notch 8.
Is notch 8.
Diesels have an 8-notch throttle. Well, it's 9 notches, but one's idle. and
Why
then power
why
1 through
8 notches? Is it like
Why
five-
not?
why not 10? 10% intervals. Why
Yeah,
8?
it's just one of those things. That's the most common thing. One of our diesels at the museum has 7 notches. The other one has a pneumatic air throttle that's like off of a boat sort of setup, so it doesn't even have notches. I mean, that's just kind of whatever. 8
Interesting.
seemed like a nice number, I guess. I think
We are losing a little speed. I'm gonna go up to 100%. Notch 8.
yeah, you could probably send it. I want to say that the 8 notches came from the logic with the original mechanical governor setup for the throttle valves and how they worked. Because originally the diesel engines were governed mechanically, so the governor sets the speed.
I thought a diesel engine though, was literally just a diesel generator powering electric motors.
Yeah, exactly. That's what most electric or diesel locomotives
Okay,
are.
but how
in
would you do a
the United
mechanical
States.
governor on an electric motor? Isn't an electric motor direct drive to the wheels?
So
isn't it...
the way that it works is that the speed of the diesel engine sets the power output of the alternator. So to notch up, the throttle actually talks to the
Wait, so
governor of the engine
they
to
power
speed
down,
it up.
like the motors aren't regulated with a variable, like a VFD, a variable frequency drive or whatever, like electronically. They're literally like the diesel generator, they're controlling the voltage to the motor to slow the motor down is how they're doing it?
Yes. So some electric locomotives do use VFDs and things like that, but the primary setup for a diesel electric is diesel engine spin more fast, make alternator make more juice, and send more
Right, send more power,
motors.
motor go faster.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised they don't use VFDs. That's like for people who don't know, a VFD is basically a speed controller for an electric motor that has the motor at full power, but by varying. That's
Words.
a word.
Words is hard.
One of those words. Anyway, something with varying it, but by varying the frequency going to the motor, you can control how fast the motor spins without actually lowering the voltage that you're giving it. So you can have a 120 volt motor that always gets 120 volts, but doesn't actually spin at full RPM.
Yeah, so most diesel locomotives, at least originally, were DC motors.
Right, so it
Not
would just
AC.
be more voltage equals spin faster.
Yeah, so they are a lot, actually, and most railroads are switching to AC motors because when you're talking about maintenance, what sucks? Changing brushes on giant motors.
Right.
Yeah. You want to talk about, man, the electricians at the shop. You want to talk about people getting pissy and frustrated about stuff? Ask one of the more senior electricians
So
to
they
change
were these.
brushes.
They were
Yeah.
big brushed DC motors.
Giant brushed DC motors
Not even,
with, I don't
like,
even know,
brushless.
not even brushless. I don't even know what you would call the actual wire size
So,
in terms of gauge.
I drive.
But, like, the
I have a
leads-
lot of like RC stuff, right? And like
Yeah.
we have brushed and non-brushed motors, and the biggest difference between a brushed and a non-brushed motor is the sound. Like obviously a brushless motor gives you a lot more torque, and it gives you a lot more throttle control in terms of RC stuff. But like a brushed motor, when you rev a brushed motor up, it is loud. It is noisy compared to a brushless.
Well,
And-
when you've got a giant diesel engine that's like a V16, and in the case of the EMDs, a clutch-driven turbo that's kind of a turbo, but also kind of not because of the clutch drive, that sits there and goes really loud and obnoxious the whole time.
Yeah.
Look up an EMD locomotive. That's exactly what they sound like. Like, we're not too concerned with the noise of the motors.
They actually why'd they never go? Brushless motors are more expensive, but wouldn't it have just been less maintenance for like a brushless motor never has
That
it
is-
doesn't have friction. It's just the bearing.
That is why they are going to AC motors now rather than brushless DC, and I don't honestly know why. I wonder if there's some scaling issues with brushless DC that big, maybe? I don't know. Because, I mean, the commutators on those motors, I mean, they gotta be probably 14 or 16 inches in diameter. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, it's like an AC fan motor. If you've ever worked in like I used to work in HVAC. Oh yeah. No, but if you ever worked in HVAC, like the big motors that they use for running like blowers of an entire building, like the HVAC, they're like usually these big 120 volt, 500 horsepower motors you lift with a forklift.
Wow. Yeah.
They're big, and they're probably like good 12 to 18 inches in diameter. Just to get they're monsters. But they push like thousands of cubic feet per minute of air.
Say,
like
lots of CFM.
Yeah,
when you're talking about
CFM on these things
evacuating
is
a
silly.
building, yeah.
Yeah. I used to do. It was funny. We had one building that they underspec'd the supply fan, so the return fan was pulling more air out of the building than the supply fan was putting into the building.
Okay.
By about 2 psi, right? So about 2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Measurable PSI in the
Yeah,
building.
so it's about 2 pounds per square inch in the whole building. Now, a door is like 4 feet by like 6.5 or 7.
Oh God! So it was trying to pull the door closed.
Yeah, so like 2 psi on a door that's like 4 feet by 6.5, 7 is about 400 to 500 pounds of
Oh my
like
God.
actual force. So you could not get in or out of this building.
I wish you could see my face right now because I'm jaw dropped.
It was quite amazing. Well, it was fun because then
problem.
when the contractors tried to, so my job when I worked at HVAC was I was working as an engineer, and my entire job was basically just yelling at contractors that they were doing stuff wrong.
Well, that's many jobs.
The normal engineering role, and when we tried to explain to the contractors, like, guys, you brought the wrong fan. Like, this is not a big enough supply fan for this building. Like, it needs to match the return fan's size. And they tried to argue with us, and it was like, great, come meet us at the building. And they were
Yeah,
like, all right, well,
open the
can you
door.
bring? It's like, can you take us inside and show us the problem? It's like, no, we cannot. So
Yeah, try and open the door, bud.
yeah,
You got
so
this.
we had to turn off the units to get into the building, right? Like, and so yeah, it was a good time.
That's
Yeah.
one of those big blunders, like
Specs
industrial
matter,
scale
kids.
blunders.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good times. Loved it.
You know, yeah, that's very silly.
Yeah, that was
It's
the majority of my
amazing-
job, was arguing with people about stupid stuff that they did wrong.
That's engineering. Oh,
It was like, here's a
Design
drawing,
this wrong.
and they're like, okay, and they're like, you need to build this drawing, and they were like, okay, and then you come back and they're like, okay, so I didn't build the drawing, but
I built this.
I
and
built
it's gonna be
this,
cheaper
and you're
for
like,
me.
I
Yeah.
don't understand what this is, but this is not what I asked for, and they're like, well, let's have
You
6
did
more
not
meetings.
meet my design requirements.
Yeah, it's good times. I wonder how many times that happened with like locomotive design and things, where it was just like,
Dude, all the time.
yeah, like I
one
can
of
only
one
imagine.
of my favorite stupid exchanges. I need to go dig through the archives and find these telegrams again, but was with the Rio Grande and the boiler shop in Alamosa, Colorado, and the big back shop in Denver at Burnham. They were working on our engine 491 in Alamosa, giving it most of a new boiler. So, ton of work. But they did an experiment where they put siphons in the firebox, their special steaming efficiency device. And so Alamosa asked Burnham to punch out a wrapper sheet, top of the firebox, exterior, for 491. And so Burnham punches it out and sends it on its way to Alamosa, but they punched it to a standard K37 template. They didn't punch it to the modified template, which needed 2 rows of bolt holes omitted that, of course, they already punched in because they were punching and rolling this huge sheet and everything. And
Bro,
so
just
Alamosa
tack weld it
goes,
and you call it a day. Just fill it with
Right.
some weld material and you're good to
well,
go.
so this is the 40s. Well, electric
Okay, you
welding
don't
was
have,
not.
put a rivet in it, just a big rivet, and
That's what they did.
yeah.
So they,
There you go.
they-
See, we're thinking like engineers. We got
right?
it.
So Alamosa literally asked Burnham, they're like, yo, you idiots. And the telegram was sassy, too. I don't remember what it
And
said
they probably
exactly, but-
probably sent them the piece without telling them. They punched the extra hole and just threw the rivet in and pretended like it never that was intentional.
Burnham sent back a message, hey, we ran the tensile strength on that sheet and did the boiler calcs. Just put the bolts in like you would normally, and then cut them off and peen them over. So it looks like it has all of the bolts on the outside, but
Right,
on the
but you
inside, it's
flatten them
missing
on the
2
inside.
rows.
Yeah, gotcha,
It's
yeah.
so silly. He's like, oh,
we have to
nailed
go.
it, guys.
We have to go
cool.
hump, sir. We have to go hump.
Oh, we do. We do.
I have
to go hump.
$6,100, so that means next episode we can afford a climax.
We can buy a climax.
That's so
we
good.
Gotta hump.
We'll have a
we hump
helper
and
that
then we
actually
climax.
doesn't suck.
Dude, I am
Perfect.
I am so thrilled.
Yeah, we'll be able to do that. So that's good. Next episode we can actually, and then we can use the rest of the money really to buy more steak flats.
Yeah,
Just
smart.
we should really just run a big train to
more
the
train.
iron mine, because now that we're out of iron again, we can run just the new helper. Can you slow down, or you just gotta
I like speed.
you gotta
Speed and
complex?
power. I like going fast. We got places to be, Con.
No,
Like, come on.
we really don't. We gotta hump, actually.
We do, and which
Um,
means we don't have a dedicated hump switcher yet, so we're gonna have to run around this mess. So why don't you cut off, and I'll just.
Oh, I
and-
see. You're
and
gonna run around on the
break-
main.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not yard speed, sir.
That's fine. I don't see any cars ahead of us.
Bro, this is not yard speed.
Oh, there they are.
It doesn't matter if the cars are there or the yard is empty. You don't break
We
yard
don't have
speed,
a rule book for this
sir.
railroad. This is a crap railroad. We
Sir,
don't have
there
rule
is a
books.
yard speed limit that is
Well,
being
then put
enforced.
it in the rule book and put it in the timetable, and then
Do
I'll
we even
abide
have
by it.
signs?
But we don't.
have. Would there be signs in the yard, or would it just be like, "Don't be an idiot. This is yard speed"? Like,
You would have a yard limit entry marker to say, okay,
right.
you're in yard limits.
I'm gonna
your
draw
rules-
it out with foundation pieces. Okay, so you can just really.
Your rule book would specify, okay, yard speed is 8 miles an hour, or it's 4 miles an hour, or it's whatever. Probably not 4, probably 8, 10, or 15, depending on
All right.
just how cool you are. That's fine. That's fine.
Is it still having that derailing issue on these switches?
No, it's fine. That's fine. I don't know what you're on about.
Dude,
I
I
definitely-
literally deleted these switches and replaced them. So if it's
So okay,
still
so
derailing,
don't feel bad about that. No, it was a little bit of picnic problem.
oh, did you
Problem
flick
in
the
chair,
switch?
not in
you
computer.
flicked the
Yeah.
switch too
So
quick?
I
Okay.
fell off the engine and I thought it was going slow enough, and so I couldn't get back on because it was going like exactly
All right, you're good.
run
You can
speed.
go forward.
Forward, yep. And so I was trying to run and get the switch, but it was moving too fast. So I put a handbrake on one of the cars, And then the tender was halfway over the switch, and I threw the switch while it was on it. And look, the tender's on the track right now, so nobody needs to know anything, Con. Okay?
Perfect. No,
It's
that's
fine.
fine. I just thought,
Just,
I was just really hoping I didn't have to replace these switches yet again.
Ignore all of the gouged ties.
Yeah, well,
it's
that's-
fine.
yeah.
Nothing happened there.
Also, this feels like the dumbest engine to be humping with because it has
it's
a
not-
plow.
It's not ideal shoving this much stuff through the drawbar.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I already disconnected it because we're gonna
okay.
start sliding as soon as we.
It actually started rolling away from me before I got
Yeah.
to the top. So I'm gonna
Once like
punch you
half
with
the
some
cars clear
speed.
the hump, it just goes. We're good.
There you go. Bye. Bye.
This is great. I love this. It's the best part.
Dude, this is fun. I would try and take myself out of jousting mode, but I don't trust myself. So
That's fine. Just back it back up. You got to go all the way down the main and turn around to the Y again.
we do.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess the Zuma is still sitting on the turntable with no roundhouse
But
around
that's okay.
it. so
There's
we
a
should-
Y. There's a
Yeah.
Y at the.
Well,
so
why the engine?
But yeah, that's another successful episode. Finally have enough money to do something. So
Dude, we can buy the climax. We had to hump first.
Yeah.
And now we can climax, but I mean, yeah, it's fine.
But that's cool. Next episode we'll buy the climax, and then we can get more cars. And I love how big this yard is because we can put like 20 of each car type, so we can really.
Dude, I am stoked to just see this yard full.
Yeah.
Just chock
like-
full of cars.
Yeah. But anyway, let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. You know, we're gonna do some cool stuff next episode. Get a better helper, and then
Big choo choo.
we're actually getting to the point where we've almost built out the entire railroad, which is kind of exciting.
That is exciting.
So, you know, we only have 3 industries left to connect to, and then obviously we can build a ton of alternate routes, and we got to build out the roundhouse and things, but it's coming along. I really like the operations we have to do just to do stuff. It feels really authentic. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.